Welcome to BIBO Weekly's Winner's Circle, where winning is always a part of the conversation. I'm Tracy S. Campbell, and I am excited to be back here with you all for once again, another great episode where we get into topics and things that are going to put you in a winning position, especially those of you out there that are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, nonprofit founders, or if you are just determined to launch that passion project, well, you've come to the right place to get information that's going to help you out. Now, later in the show, we're going to give you information. We're going to give you information where you can connect more directly with us here at BIBO. But for right now, we're going to jump into an incredible conversation today all around business credit and business properties. A lot of you are wanting to take your business to the next level, or you want to venture down the path of a business that may require you to have a physical location. So we're going to get into how your credit affects all of that, I should say, and what you can do to benefit from the great information that you're about to get right now. Joining me today is a gentleman who knows a little bit about mortgage, lending, and credit. He's been doing this for a while, folks. He has a fantastic book that we're going to talk about later. And he's also going to give us a great education today on your personal credit, your business credit, Airbnbs, and all sorts of other great information. Please join me, everyone, in welcoming Chad Murray. Chad, thank you so much for being here in the Winner's Circle.
Thank you so much, Trace. I feel like such a winner just to be in your presence right now.
Well, see, you're already starting the conversation off right. I like you already, Chad.
Let's go. Absolutely. Well, I wanted to say thank you so much for having me on. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to speak to all of these winning women out here. And hopefully I could drop some jewels that could really help them to get to the next level in their credit and also in their business around real estate.
Absolutely. And we like to say gems, dropping gems. So you're already on the right path, because I know you have a lot for us today. I know you do. I know you do. Well, we're going to be talking, everyone, again, around business credit, properties, and all of that. And I guess we should start with, well, how does your personal credit affect your business credit? Is there a big difference between the two? I know a lot of folks are probably confused about this. They assume that their personal credit affects their business credit. Some people may think that the two are entirely different entities. Chad, can you help us out here? How do these two play together? Your personal credit, your business credit, how does that work?
Absolutely. So Tracy, the thing about personal credit and business credit is that they are actually their two own separate entities, but the personal credit could be the fuel that takes your business credit to the next level. All right. So in order to establish strong business credit, you actually have to go through a process where you'd establish a DUNS number, you'd establish getting some accounts that you have to pay off in 30 days, net 30 accounts. And what that does is it helps you to start to build your business credit score, right? That process by itself, let's say totally independent of any personal credit, could take a significant time to really start getting into traction to the point that you'll be able to even get credit cards. So normally it would take you at least about 6 months to get any kind of credit cards. But ultimately, the real name of the game in business credit is, yes, to be able to make those payments on time, but also your financials. So showing a track record of money coming into your business, money going out of your business, and you being able to show pretty much a track record of success. So when you go to get funding, the entities that are going to give you the funding, they're going to look at your bank statements.
Okay.
They're going to look at your transaction history, as much as they're going to be looking at your paydex score, which is the business credit score, to determine how much money they can give you.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to pause you right there, Chad, because you gave us a lot. So I want to make sure that right now, everyone, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you grab that iPad, notepad, notebook, whatever you use to take notes, because you're going to get a really good education today. So Chad, I'm going to try to recap a little bit of what you just said, because you said some really, really important things here that if folks are new to business credit worthiness, how to start that whole process. I want to make sure we help them out here. So again, your personal credit and your business credit, do those two really rely on one another?
Well, the short answer is yes and no.
Okay. Okay.
No, in the sense that you could actually establish business credit totally independent from your personal credit.
Okay.
However, it's not as simple as when you look at, it's not as simple as just the credit score by itself to say, okay, look, I paid these accounts for a whole year. Now give me more money. Yes, you'll be able to get financing for maybe up to like $5,000 credit cards and such. But in order to get significant financing, it's going to come down to the business financials, right?
Okay. Okay. So let's pause there. Let's pause there a second, Chad. So the answer, everyone, is yes and no when it comes to how your personal credit affects your business credit. And so Chad now is going into, well, focusing, zeroing in on the business side of things. What do we need to do? And so one of the things you said, Chad, that I thought was really interesting, and a lot of people may not know this or understand this, in order to establish business credit, we have to talk about this thing called a DUNS number, right? We have to talk about that. So assuming folks watching already have their corporation set up, because obviously we need to do that first, everyone, make sure all of that's in place. And let's say you have decent personal credit. Let's say that for a second. Now you have to establish this thing called a DUNS number. And you talked about net 30 in terms of credit cards and so forth. Can you elaborate just a little bit more on that? Because I want to make sure everyone gets that for those that are brand new and venturing into this whole world of business credit.
All right. So if you have your DUNS number set up, you can't go to Bank of America and say, hey, look, I got this DUNS number. Let me get some money. What you'd actually have to do is you'd actually have to go to smaller vendors, such as maybe office supply companies,
okay,
different magazines. And what they'll do is they'll give you credit on what's called a net 30 account, meaning that you make your orders, they'll send you the products for a few $100s, and they'll require payment within 30 days.
Okay.
All right. What makes business credit different from personal credit is that while personal credit is comprised of 5 factors, your payment history, the utility, the amounts that you owe, the length of credit, as well as credit mix and new credit. Business credit is solely dependent on you making your payment on time. If you make your payment on time, your credit score is going to be at the maximum point that it can get up to, which is 100. So to start out, you'd get these smaller accounts, and you'd have to show a track record in the history of paying on time, paying on time, paying on time. Okay. But unlike, again, now credit, once you've established that number and you've had that strong 700 plus credit score, you could just go out there and start to get credit incrementally a lot faster. Right. This process is going to take a little longer because it's attached to other things. They want to want to see that your business has been established for a significant period of time. Okay. The longer your business has been established, the more financials that your business can show. When I say financials, I mean your bank statements, tax returns, profit and loss. The more thorough your business looks on paper, is the easier you're going to be financed. And that's how you'll be able to actually get money that's detached from your person, right? Detached from your social security number.
Got it. And Chad, when you say significant amount of time, what does that look like? Is it subjective? Is it, just kind of, we do this and say, okay, 2 years sounds good. Okay. Is it that, or is it an established number? Like, okay, my business really needs to be established for 2 years or 3 years or some concrete number, because I'm sure folks are wondering, well, am I really ready to go after this business credit?
The way I like to answer that question is, think about a project that you started a while ago. You put down, you turn around now, like, man, if I'd have finished it then, I'd have been 10 years into that.
Right.
That's how business credit is for a lot of people, because it's a tedious process. But if it just becomes a part of what you do, whether it's 1 year or 2 years or 10 years, you have to start where you are. Okay. Right. Now, if your business has been established for 3 or 4 years and you've been running it like a business with a business bank account, and you have your tax returns, you're ahead of the game. So
Right.
you starting to now establish your DUNS number and starting to establish these net 30 accounts and making these payments on time is actually going to accelerate the time in which you'll be able to access funding. Now, if you're just starting a business from scratch, this process could take a whole year before you could even start getting any unsecured credit cards that are going to be given to you by like a second or third tier credit card company, even like a Home Depot, for example.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
But what I always like to tell people is that while the business credit game can be a very lucrative game all by itself, if you actually partner it up with a strong personal guarantor, which means that you actually build up your personal credit so that it's actually a win instead of a loss for you, right, it will actually multiply the effectiveness of your business credit.
Oh, wow. Okay. So hence that yes and no answer earlier.
Absolutely. That goes the yes and no answer.
So if I have, it's a cycle. It's a cycle. So if I have a personal credit score of 785, that's a decent credit score. That's going to help me to get more business credit faster and maybe even more of it when I go after it, I assume.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what creditors are looking for are the risk factors.
Okay.
Right? If they can see that your business is well established and your business is making money, that's going to put them at ease. If they can show that you have a history of your business paying all of its debt on time, that's going to put them at ease. And if they know that they have a personal guarantor that's shown a track record of years of making all of their bills on time, now they're going to be in a position where they're going to say, you know what? This is a viable partner for me to lend money to and know that I'm going to get the money back, right? Mm-hmm. Compare that to somebody that just launched a business the other day, right? The majority of businesses are going to fail within the first 5 years, right? We know that. Right. So if you just launch a business today and you show that you made your net 30 payments on time for a little while, there's really no motivation for anyone to take a risk on you. So what you need to do is make sure that as you go into business, that don't deal with it as a hustle. Mm-hmm. Cross all the T's, dot all the I's from the very beginning so that as you grow in your business grows in terms of how it's presentable and how fundable you are, how bankable you are.
I love it. How fundable you are, everyone, and how bankable you are. And that's tied directly to your personal credit. So yes, I know it's not a static answer. It's a yes and a no, because every situation is different. I'm assuming, Chad, everyone's situation is different.
The reason why I like to say the yes and the no is because people sometimes get the notion that, oh yeah, my credit is messed up. I'm not even going to pay it any mind. Listen, just like when I was saying that project that you could have picked up 10 years ago that would have you 10 years down the line, right, your credit is the same way. If your credit isn't where you want it to be, don't give up on it. Just take incremental steps every single month to make progress. Just be consistent and be religious with the progress that you're making on your credit. Because at the end of the day, everyone has ups and downs in their life. And right, ultimately, your credit is going to tell us what happened, not necessarily who you are. So don't take it personal. Just get committed to making sure that you do all you can to have your credit be an asset in every phase of your financial life.
I love it. So to sum this up, because I definitely want us to talk about the property side of things.
Yeah,
I know that's where you excel. I know that's where you excel, Chad. Yeah. So to sum this part up, everyone, so we're talking about business credit and establishing business credit. So first, I think it's safe to say you absolutely want your personal credit to be as good and as strong as it can be, because down the road and long term, it is going to help your business credit. That's not to say that you can't establish business credit with a mediocre credit score, but it's right, definitely going to help things, right, Chad? It's going to help things move along a lot faster. And then we talked a little bit about your DUNS number, something that every business needs if they're trying to establish credit and credit worthiness, DUNS number. And then you want to get accounts that are net 30. And now typically these are small creditors. These are not the big boys of Amex and Visa and so forth, I'm assuming, Chad. These are more like your Finger Huts. These are more like, small, your Office Max, if you will, or Staples, or some of those smaller entities that will allow you to build business credit over the course of 30 days, 60 days, and so forth. So those are some of the beginning things that you can do to put yourself in a position to be credit worthy on the business side of things. Now, Chad, as he told us at the top of the conversation, has a strong background in mortgage. He has a strong background in helping people get into homes. And since we're talking about business, we're going to shift over into business property, because right now, the hot ticket right now are Airbnbs. And Chad, I know we were chatting offline before we started about that. That seems to be a hot commodity right now. Folks who are wanting to get into Airbnbs, they want to use it as an income vehicle, if you will. They want to use it as an income vehicle. And I know this falls into your wheelhouse. Can you tell us a little bit about that and other business type properties that folks may want to know about as they try to find out which direction they want to go in that realm?
Well, I'd have to tell you, Tracy, the reason why Airbnb to me, or vacation rentals, whether it's Airbnb or VRBO, they're extremely popular right now. The reason why they are is because they offer multifamily income on single family residences.
Okay.
You have the potential to make, in many cases, thousands of dollars a month on properties that if it was traditionally rented out, you'd be looking at maybe $1,500 to $2,500. Now you could be looking at income of $3,500 all the way up to $6,000-7,000 a month, depending on where that property is located. And the beautiful part about it is that single family residences are the easiest properties to finance, because you have loan programs like conventional mortgages, VA mortgages, which are designed for you to actually buy to live in. But with the conventional mortgage, notice I didn't mention the FHA mortgage, because that's a federal loan as well, that when you buy a FHA home, you gotta get a FHA loan. If you don't live in a house, that could present some kind of a challenge for you. But there's so many other loan programs that could allow you to get in with as little as 5% down. Now, compare that to any kind of a business investment. Like if you're doing an investment property is going to require 20% down payment. So out the gate, your return on investment for an Airbnb is going to be significantly higher, because you've already started with a significantly lower down payment to get started.
Wow. Now I'm going to pause you right there, Chad, because that's gold right there. So if I wanted to buy a property, I want to make sure everyone gets this. If I wanted to buy a property for my business, and I went out and I found a location, I found a house, a location that I thought would be great, I am going to have to put down 20% because it is a property intended for business. However, if I understand you correctly, you're telling us that an Airbnb can be a single family home, but because it's going to be used as a business property, it's still going to be treated, because it's a home, it's still going to be treated as a retail property, a property that anyone can get, I can get, you can get for our family. And now instead of 20% down, it's going to be 10% down. Or 5%. Or 5%.
Even 5%. And I'll tell you what it is a lot of people that have Airbnbs, like you're in Chicago, right?
Yes.
If you bought a property in Orlando where I am, that's like you saying, I want to have a place to get away from all of this snow and all of this aggressive and almost violent wind. I don't know how you do it, by the way. That's Chicago.
Don't make me feel any worse than I already do, Chad.
I'm just saying. I mean, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. Yikes! But you could buy a house in Florida right now, and that could be a second home for you, right? And the beauty of Airbnb is that you could actually come out here on vacation during times like, I don't know, now,
when
it's really, really cold. And then for the rest of the year, you could actually have it in an Airbnb or in a VRBO doing vacation rental. So the property is paying for itself and it's paying you while people are enjoying your property and you're enjoying Chicago.
Wonderful. I love it. So, Chad, it sounds like you are a strong advocate of Airbnb, but what if someone is watching and they're like, yeah, that sounds great, but I literally just need a small house or a small storefront for my business, and I want to find out how I can make that happen with business credit of some sort. Is there anything I can do to minimize that down payment that's typically, as you told us, typically 20% because it's deemed a business property? Is there anything I can do to get around that? Or is that just the way it is, unless we're venturing down the path of Airbnb, for example?
Well, that's not the actual only way. There are other loan programs for people who are self-employed. A lot of the women in this winner's circle here are business people. And that means that they've gone out there on their own and they're taking the risk and they're betting on themselves. The downside of that is not having the security of income. And that means that when you go to file your taxes, you can't say oh yeah, I'm going to make 75,000 this year. Oh yeah, I'm going to have 90,000, a $90,000 W-2 this year.
Right.
Even as an entrepreneur, you could have a phenomenal year, but what are we going to do, Tracy? We're going to write off every single expense that we can, and our bottom line on our taxes are going to show that, you know, we're enjoying a meager life, right?
Right.
And when you actually take that tax return to your mortgage lender, they're going to say, yeah, you just don't make enough money. Mm-hmm. That means that if you're buying your first home, your second home, or an investment property, on paper, you just don't make enough money. Okay. However, there are some loan programs out there. One in particular that I think is really, really phenomenal. And a lot of my business clients have been able to make a lot of money buying property because of this little program that we have. This program is a bank statement program. So what that means is that instead of looking at your tax returns to qualify you for a mortgage loan, we're going to be looking at your monthly deposits. So if you're depositing money and you have gross revenue coming in because your Etsy store is doing great, or you're selling products on Instagram, you're going to have those deposits coming in every single month. So regardless of how much the expenses in your business are, if your deposits, we take that, we cut it in half, we're going to be using that as the income, as your gross monthly income to go against your gross monthly debt to now qualify you for a home. And at that point, you'd only have to put down 10%, and that's on your first home. And we could also use the same exact program on an investment property as well.
Oh, so that's phenomenal. Yeah, that's phenomenal.
It's powerful.
That is powerful. And now, would it still be that same 20%? Because again, when we get into investment properties and business properties, are we still dealing with that 20%, even with this great bank statement program?
With this bank statement loan, we could still get you in for as little as 10% down.
That's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a game changer. It's a total game changer because for the last few years, self-employed individuals have just been on the sideline, not able to buy because, you know, the income on paper just doesn't look like it's strong enough. In all reality, we're the ones that makes the economy tick, right? We're the one that are bringing the money in, making the investments and having it turn over. It's just that it doesn't look as strong on paper. But now we have a program for us that's going to help us to be able to use the fact that we get the high monthly deposits. And even though we're writing off a lot of our expenses, we're going to look a lot stronger and now be able to get into the home buying and also investment game because of this program. One other thing that I want to say, Tracy, when buying property, a lot of people want to go ahead and try to buy a property in their corporate name.
Right.
And that's cool. But the thing is, you could always buy a property in your personal name and put it into a land trust, put it into an S corp, put it into your LLC, depending on the kind of business that you're into. Okay,
but we would first buy that property in our name as opposed to automatically buying it in our business name.
And the reason that is because as a person, as an individual on your social security number, it's going to just allow you to get that property with a significantly lower down payment. And the name of the game is ROI, return on investment.
Absolutely.
Cash on cash return. We want to get that money back into the account as fast as possible so that we can flip it into something else. And if you put all of your money down because you decided to buy it in your corporate name, now if your business has a little hiccup, you won't have as much of a cushion. So I always advocate, if when at all possible, buy the property in your personal name and then switch it over. And that's if you're looking to do something like an Airbnb. That's if you're looking to do a bank statement loan. Okay. Mm-hmm. But there are other programs as well that speak directly to self-employed individuals like us as well. So
awesome. I tell you, Chad, man, I need you here for 2 hours.
2.5.
For 2.5. Just going through all of this stuff. It's amazing, but you gave us some really good gems today. Everyone, again, I hope you were taking great notes. Okay, I'm going to try to recap as quickly as I can because I want Chad to tell us about his book before we wrap up here today. Please, please, please make sure that you keep your personal credit where it needs to be. We want to get that score as high as possible, right? Because again, it affects not only our personal credit, but it also affects our business down the line. Okay. If you're going into this business credit realm, if you will, you got to get a DUNS number, and you definitely got to establish your net 30 accounts so that you have a record of your business credits. Smaller entities like Fingerhut and Staples and Office Max, those entities will allow you, as long as you're paying on time, will allow you to establish that business credit. And Airbnb, the way to go if you want to get into the property side, if you will, the real estate side of business. You can't go wrong with Airbnbs. But if not, there are programs like the bank statement program that Chad shared with us today that will allow you to get into a business property, an investment property, a lot cheaper, as well as, of course, your own personal residential property as well. Did I do a good job, Chad? Did I sum it all up?
I couldn't have done it better myself. That was amazing. That was great.
Well, I definitely want to make sure you quickly tell us about your book. We have 3 minutes here. Tell us about your book and how someone can connect more directly with you.
Okay, well, you can connect with me at my website. That's chadthelender.com. Chadthelender.com. And when you actually go to my website, you can actually schedule a free consultation. And when you schedule a free consultation, I'm actually going to send you a copy of my book for free. A copy of my book, The Home Buyer Blueprint. There's 7 keys to start building wealth. And the reason why I say start building wealth is because real estate is the foundation. You can't go out there and show me any or very few millionaires who don't have real estate as a significant part of their investment portfolio. And the reason why that is because real estate is just a solid base to build everything else on. You need to live somewhere, so it always makes sense for you to own the property that you live in. People that have bought property in the last 2-3 years have seen their property values go up 20%, 15%, 30%, depending on the area that you're living in. And that means that they've actually increased their net worth, all by buying a piece of property that they're going to live in. And from there, it's a wonderful platform to be able to buy more and more property. And what my book does is it breaks down the entire home buying process from the mentality all the way down to the closing costs and leaves nothing in between that's not explored. And my favorite part of the book is at the end, the last chapter, I actually really start to talk about the different areas once you actually get your first house, where you can go to start investing in real estate using the wealth from your first house to establish more wealth for yourself, more of a legacy for your family.
Awesome. Everyone, make sure you get your hands on this book. You can go to chadthelender.com. Make sure you go over there, chadthelender.com. Make sure you get your hands on that book. Chad, the information for your book is on your website, correct?
It's on my website, and it's also on my book. You could also find my book on Amazon.
Wonderful. We will definitely continue to support that effort. Yes. And everyone, we are out of time, but guess what? I want to make sure you head over to worldofbibo.com. That's worldofbibo.com to connect more directly with the BIBO brand. And we're going to have to get Chad back, obviously, again, here on the show. But in the meantime, everyone, what do I always say every week? Make sure in this crazy world that you're living in, make sure that you stay healthy, you stay safe. Most of all, stay blessed. And we'll see you back here in the Winner's Circle next week. Take care.